Hey, everybody, this is Patty. Welcome to the witching hour. Yes, the hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. We have some repeat magic for you today because she is so special. She is a witch. She is an author. She is a crazy cat lady. No particular order. The one and only Deborah Blake. Thank you so much for coming back on, Deborah.
Oh, you're so welcome. I always have so much fun.
I am thrilled to have you. And you have a wonderful new book just released right
I
now.
do. Oh, good Lord. I think this is my 17th book from Llewellyn, if you could
Right.
believe that. Yes, it is the very beautiful Year and a Day of Everyday Magic. And this is a good time of year to be talking about it because this is a year and a day book. So there's one day for every year. And, this is actually my second one. People are getting a little confused because they're like, don't I have that already? Like, no, that was the year and a day of everyday witchcraft, different color, different cat. But I wrote one back in 2017 and people would say, oh, I use it every year, but I've used it every year for a bunch of years. Won't you write another one? And I finally convinced Llewellyn to let me write another one. So, yeah, this one, it's a little bit different. The other one was more like interesting facts, and this is more active. This is like, here's a quick, easy thing you can do. And of course, it's always quick and easy because, in any given day, if you have an extra 5 minutes, you're doing really well. So some of them are like little crafty projects. Some of them are just, uh, how to connect with an animal spirit. There's a few recipes because, hey, those are magic too. So yeah, a year and a day of everyday magic. Uh,
Love it.
Witchify your life with a daily dose of magic. That's the subtitle.
Yeah, I love it. And again, I'm kind of like that too. Make it every day, make it part of your life, not like this big thing. Those are great too, but I like putting it into my day to day. So is it sort of designed for somebody to like every day go and do what that next day is or hop
And
around?
because, well, you know me, my answer to that question is always whatever works for you. I mean, yes, like you could look at, say, January 27th, and there's a spell for letting go.
Ooh,
So, it's the beginning of the new year, might be a good time to let go of things. So I talk a little bit about, um, how to do it, and then you just say the spell. And, literally, the instructions are, if you want, you can light a black candle, say the spell, then light a white candle, snuff out the black one to signify that you have let go of the old to make room for the new. Or you can write down whatever you're letting go of and rip it up or burn the paper. So super, super simple. And then there's the little spell. And yeah, no big prep work. You don't have to cast the circle. You don't have to call all the quarters. Just a simple little thing that you can fit at the beginning of your day or the end of your day or whenever works for you. But say you're somebody who doesn't like to be told what to do when. Witches are a lot like that. You can just open the book and go, oh, okay, I'm looking at April 23rd. It says rabbit. How do I use a rabbit with magic? What do I need to know about rabbits? Um, so you can do it that way. There are certain things that are tied to, like the solstices and the equinoxes are generally speaking around the time that those fall. But most of the rest of the things in the book can be used sort of whenever. And yeah, like the January letting go thing, it's suitable for January. On the other hand, if you really need to let go of something in May, you can look in the back of the book because it lists everything that's in there. And you can go, oh, look, there's a spell for letting go. Thank goodness I could do that now. And I tried to design it so that my wonderful readers who live in the Southern Hemisphere could also use it. They basically would just start at the time of the year that's appropriate to them and then just keep circling back
the
around.
opposite. I think that's beautiful. And I love it that I would do because I'm half a rebel and half like to follow lines. I would probably do the day to day, which I think it's good because we do want to bring the awareness of magic into our
And
day-to-day life, whether it's a spell
yeah,
or a ritual or whatever. and then on occasion do that whole bibliomancy thing. I've already done my what is it? Oh, letting go. Yeah, how perfect is
And there is no rule that says you can't do 2 things out of the book in one day. So, yeah, and that's actually exactly the way I would use it because I am sort of practical and methodical, and I tend to start at point A and go to point B. But then there are some days where I'm just like, I don't know, just somebody send me a hint, a clue, something. And then, yes, just going, oh, look, here's the May 24th that says an affirmation, I am magic. So maybe that's the thing I need to do tonight. I don't know. So it's supposed to be fun. So there aren't really any rules. It's just whatever works for you, whatever, works with your lifestyle. And if you miss a day, I promise I am not going to show up and go, hey, I saw you did not open the book today. That will be 10 points for Gryffindor. Um, or whatever.
love it. I love it. Let them know. So it includes what spells and rituals and crafts because you're
It's got, yeah, all sorts of things. Just because I could, I put everything. There's bathroom magic in there. I mean, I put kitchen magic in it because we all do some element of kitchen magic. But I put bathroom magic because what's the other room you spend the most time in? Every day you're in and out of there at least a few times. So
yep.
there's some really simple things you can do with a steamed up mirror, with your shower. There's, yeah, really, again, really simple stuff. But if you're going to be in that room, you might as well do something magical.
I agree. I mean, that is one of the in my first book, that is I have a whole chapter of bathroom magic. Well, again, and you're right. We go there every day, and every room has a great big water cauldron in it. It's a
Oh, yeah, and exactly. And you can have hot water, you can have cold water, and
mirrors, everything you
you
need.
can drink water, you can get rid of water. There's all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, if you're in mine, you can clean a litter box, but that's not all that magical, so it's not in the book. But, yeah,
Yes, that's
you'll
in
have
your
to write that in the back yourself. But, yeah, I mean, there is a list at the back that says, "Okay, here's the spells and rituals, here's the mental health magic, here's the moon magic." So you can, if you don't want to go randomly leafing through and you don't want to go by the day, you can just look in the back and go, oh, that looks interesting. I think I'll take a look at that and see if that's what I want to do today. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So we are new into 2025. It's been a kind of a crazy year or two or more.
Yeah. Like 5, 6. I don't know. I've lost track
Yes.
of the crazy.
It's you just keep thinking it can't get weirder, and it does.
And then it gets weirder. Yeah. It's like the universe is taking it as a challenge. You're like, oh yeah. You think you can't get weirder? What? Yes.
Watch this witch. Yeah. So do you have any, whether they're in your book and any, again, get through these crazy, any particular rituals or practices that you suggest for people in the beginning of the year?
I do. I
Help.
didn't. I included a whole section on mental health magic because we all, you know, there's a spell for dealing with anxiety. There's something for calm. There's something for depression and fear. Um, there's something about sharing burdens. And yeah, then there's like a spell for joy. And as the letting go, which sometimes letting go, my word for the year, everybody does things differently. I used to do like a whole theme. Now I just pick a word. And my word for this year is acceptance, which is not the same thing as resignation. I am not resigned at all, but I am trying to accept the things that I don't have any power over instead of using up all my energy banging my head against the wall. And then also try and put whatever good I can out into the world.
I think
And
that
also, yeah.
you might arrive tomorrow because timing is everything.
Yeah, well, then you can go online and wave it at people. You can put pictures
I
of
will
yourself.
go line
You,
and wait for that
you
people.
can take it to every haunted house and just be like, okay, ghost,
The
pick a
ghost
page.
down the stairs.
Yeah, no, I don't advise that. Maybe you can use it as a cushion if a ghost throws
That
you down the
that's
stairs.
what me yes, yes, I could use all the cushioning I can
It's
you
pretty
are
sick. Yeah, it's
because you are the most prolific Llewellyn author I know. You have
are you
so many books out. I don't know how you did it.
well, I if it's any consolation, I'm slowing down. I happen to, last year I had a couple of things come out, but it was because one was like a really long project that finally was finished, and one was a shorter book. So it was, yeah. This year, this is my only thing, unless I get my ass moving and write a novel, which is what's next on the agenda theoretically. Well, I've always had a dual career. I have lots of novels and lots of nonfiction, but the nonfiction sort of edged out the fiction in the last few years. And now I'm maybe switching to go the other way around. I don't know. I am working on a new tarot deck with Elizabeth Alba, which is a lot of fun. She's the person that illustrated my first tarot deck, the Everyday Witch deck, and the Everyday Witch Oracle. And of course, probably saw this, the Everyday Witch's Familiars Oracle.
And I love that. I'm a familiars person. I'm an animal
Oh,
person all the way.
yeah.
So
And we had so much fun doing this because we've got 9 animals for earth, 9 for air, but we added 4 for spirit, which are mythological animals. So we've got a sphinx, a dragon, a unicorn, and a phoenix. I love the phoenix as a symbol of rebirth and renewal, and that.
this is beautiful.
So, yeah, and of course we have, your basic cat and dog, but we also have, a lion, and we have there's some birds and there's some fish. So, yeah, I love that the picture is it the book I wrote, but this has a beautiful crow. Is it crow? No, it's a raven. It's got a raven on it. I'm pretty sure it's a raven. Yes, it's a raven. So yeah, we've got all sorts of fun things. And I thought maybe if you wanted, I could pull out a card for the folks who are watching, just randomly out of the deck. Oh, and there's the back of the deck, which is also very pretty.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll tell you that Elizabeth is just
great minds think alike. That was my next question to you. Can we have a reading for everybody tuning in right now?
we will just
I
see. Oh, that's interesting. This is let me see. Where am I? This is the rooster. And the rooster is all about being proud of your own achievements, not being afraid to say, hey, I'm pretty terrific. Look what I did. He's a fire card. So it's all about passion and enthusiasm. So it's about, oh, I don't know where I am. It's all about being excited about the new day and starting new projects. And so, yeah, what a great thing to get at the beginning of the year. Go forward with whatever it is that you're passionate about.
and the
You
card
know,
is beautiful. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I not only is she an insanely good artist, and she's an absolutely lovely human being, and we enjoy working together so much. That's why we're on our 4th deck together, because we make a good team. We're both really flexible. So, if one of us goes, oh, can we do this instead? It's like, okay.
So that's funny. Speaking of that, we're looking at a rooster right now. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you, as the writer, come up with this is the animal and then she translates it into art?
Well, it's actually been different for every deck we've done. The first deck, the Everyday Witch Tarot, because that was the first one either of us had done. And basically, Llewellyn gave me the assignment first. They said, would you like to do a tarot deck for us? And I went, I don't know, I'm awfully busy. And then I thought about it and went, do it the tarot deck. And it was probably my favorite project to work on ever. So I'm really glad I did. And then they let me actually pick the artist from some that they had, that they were interested in. They said, go look at, their websites. I got to Elizabeth's first, didn't even look at the other ones and went, please get me her. Please, please, please. But so for that deck, I wrote up the book. I wrote literally the descriptions of every card. So, it's going to be a witch doing this, doing that. And then she just painted what I said and would occasionally say, oh, do you mind if I give her striped stockings? And I'd be like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, she's got a great sense of fun about the whole thing. And then when we got to the Everyday Witch Oracle, it was still like mostly my suggestions with a little bit more input from her. Then when we did the Familiars Oracle, oh my God, we spent like months trying to figure out which animal and what is it going to represent and all of that. So it was very much a sort of a collaboration that not one of us was leading or the other one. And the one we're working on, the tarot deck we're working on now, which is called the Whimsy Woods Tarot, um, it all sort of goes by what Elizabeth is in the mood to paint. We did the animals because she was tired of doing people. She didn't want to do witches anymore or whatever. So um, this time, at the point where we finally said, okay, we both have a break in our schedules. Let's see if we can do another tarot deck. Um, Now, mind you, I did propose to Llewellyn that we do the Cranky Witch Tarot because I could have gotten behind that. I'm like all ready to write the Cranky Witch like book of witchcraft or whatever. And they thought it would be too much like our first one. They said, come up with something different. And Elizabeth, in the meanwhile, had gotten into painting these adorable little critters, wearing little top hats or vests or, whatever, sort of like a cross between Wind in the Willows and Disney's Robin Hood, just adorable, like animals that were like people, but they're still have the traits of whatever the animals are. And so when we started talking about doing a tarot, I said, what do you think about doing, a tarot with one of those? And she of course got all excited. And at that point she said, would you mind if I came up with the pictures first, knowing, because now we've done the tarot, she knows, what the symbology is basically. And she said, and, if there's anything that doesn't work, you can change it. And again, we sort of talked about which animals would be in which scenes, and it set in sort of this little English village kind of place. And so the wands are the fields and the cups are the household. And I said, are you kidding? That's less work for me. Go for it. And so, that's basically what we've been doing is she's been doing the basic sketches, sending them to me. Then I'd go, I think we need to tweak that or do that. And then I write the part of the book that goes with the sketch. So it's a complete turnaround because neither of us is invested ego wise.
Right.
Neither of us felt like we had to be the boss or be the one who got all the credit or whatever. We're just like, okay, that way worked for us the first time. This way is working for us now. If we do another deck someday, and the tarot decks take 3 years, so it probably won't be anytime soon.
I
This one won't be until 2027.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you've done tarot decks and oracle decks. Now, for
Yep.
anybody who doesn't know, we have a lot of beginners and stuff. A tarot deck is based on the 78 card major arcana, minor arcana. An oracle is not based on particularly anything.
No, an oracle can be anything. I've seen ours have 40 cards. I've seen ones that had 80 cards. I've seen ones that had 12 cards. I actually happen to have a lot of oracle decks because they're really handy for like if you just need a one card pull, or if you're doing ritual with other people, you can like pass the cards around and pull one for somebody or pull one for yourself. Um, but yeah, they vary in theme, they vary in number, and they're a lot easier to use if for people who find tarot a little intimidating, which there's a learning curve. There's no question. It's not the easiest thing. I mean, that doesn't mean anybody can do it. You just have to practice,
Yeah.
just like anything else. And anybody can play the piano. You just have to practice. Um
Some better
Yeah.
than others.
Right. No, and that's sort of what because I teach classes on tarot too. And, people say, well, can anyone, read the tarot? And I say, sure. But it's like music or math or anything else. Some people are going to have a natural gift for it and they're going to pick it up and it's going to work for them right away. Some people are going to be able to do some amount of it if they practice and if they are working at it, but they may never, they might not be somebody who ever offers a professional reading because they don't have that natural gift. And that's fine. You know, I'm not all that great at math.
Neither. Or
Yeah.
piano. And yet I study. It
Yes.
just yeah, but no, I agree with that. And because I'm a tarot girl. I started with tarot, always worked, and I can't I did not know how to work with or what to do with oracles until I started doing that one pull or ritual or
Yeah.
something. Here's one meeting. So if I'm gonna do a full session on somebody, I'll
Yeah.
and then
You can't,
pull a couple.
or, yeah, oracle cards do not lend themselves well to large readings. You can do one or two, sometimes three,
Yeah.
like past, present, future kind of thing. To me, you're not gonna get further than that with an oracle deck. You're just gonna confuse yourself. So, if you wanna do something more complicated, then yeah, stick with tarot or rune stones or, whatever.
Divination Matter. So, you also had another new book this year as well, right? Tell
Well,
us.
this came out, like, to middle of the end of last year, and this is Llewellyn's Little Book of Spellcraft, which, as the title would suggest, it's a little book. It's a hardcover, which is really cool. The year before, I had Llewellyn's Little Book of Witchcraft, so now I have a match set. It's a series that they put out, and they have different authors writing different books in it. Like, there's the Little Book of Yule and the Little Book of Day of the Dead, the Little Book of Moon Magic, all sorts of great stuff. And they're so cute. I just love them. But yeah, so it talks all about using spells, and of course, it's got some basic instructions for people who are relatively new to things because spells can be intimidating. I teach classes on that too. You get the people teaching things, and sometimes you have to have the really simple stuff and the people who have been doing it for more often, there's just a whole lot of really cool spells too. So it's useful for everybody. It's divided into like there's the lunar spells and the seasonal spells and spells for prosperity and all that kind of groovy stuff. But yeah, it also has some basic instructions. And the cool thing about the little books of is they also got little activities and little like hints and things. And so there's a list of activities, a list of spells, a list of tips. Um, so it's yeah, it's
Really
pretty.
pretty.
It's very nice. And actually I like there's there's little random cats in the
Oh,
year and a day book.
sure.
So yeah, and they're different cats on different pages. So that's you know me, crazy cat lady. If they
I
put a cat in it or on it, I'm there.
I love that. And I have to tell you, I like small books. I get intimidated by big it's left over from school. It's left over from growing up.
Yeah.
I'd pick the book by what is the smallest one. So
Well,
tell
and they also
book or a book.
gifts for people because they just feel so nice. And I got to tell you, because I now have sort of a stack of them, that they look really nice lined up together. They just make a nice little collection.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't memorized everything that they've got, but if you go to the Llewellyn website, you'll be like, whoa, they have a little book of this, a little book of that.
And look at this and that. I love that. So, I one thing again, I haven't got your book yet. I'm getting it, but I looked at some of the promos and it's beautiful. Everybody loves it and things. Um, One of my favorite things to do, and it's because I live in a high fire, is you actually had a little something about wishing with bubbles. I have bubbles near me somewhere on this table at all times.
Yep. Bubbles, it's something that my group and I started doing a long time ago. I think we used it at the summer solstice initially. because it just seemed like such a lighthearted, fun. You could send them out, the fairies could grab them, but you think about it, you know, it's air encapsulated by water with your breath in there, and you can put wishes in them and send them out into the universe and they just float off. And, you know, we just have had a blast with them. And, if you use a small enough one, I actually get little mini vials. If you, I think the first place I found them was some store that sold, like bridal
Yes.
savers, and they had little hearts on the top and everything, and they were just this tiny little skinny vial. So it was a tiny little bubble, so you could use it inside too, because it wasn't like you were going to get big soap bubbles all over everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, mine came out of necessity because we were up in the Hollywood Hills where you can't have fires and it's high fire danger. And like, can't even light one candle, can't even do this, can't even do it.
Right.
I'm not even gonna light incense. And we had all this create, and I'm like, and it hit me like it was an original idea. I know there's no original ideas. And it felt so powerful because I do work with breath a lot, with air. That's your pneuma, your life force, the moisture in your
Oh, exactly. You
I'm so
breathe a word into this thing, and that
yes.
word goes out there.
Best magic ever. Now I tried once. I was at because I do a lot of paranormal conventions. Um, and I work with oils. I work with we do. That's what we do.
Right.
But this one, I forget who it was. They were just launching. They had bubbles with certain herbs and oils and things in them.
Did they still blow?
It did. But I didn't get it and I meant to get it, but we closed up and they were gone.
Right.
I cannot make it myself. I don't know what they did. I
And you can't track them down and find out who they were.
or and I
Oh,
can't
that's really sad.
I was in, and they were fabulous. And so they
Well,
prosperity, health, love, all the things that everybody wants. And they'll list
listening will know who these people are and find them for
exactly.
you, or
Yes,
know how to do it.
yes. I mean, I would gladly support them because they made it they were beautiful bubbles. You smelt the little bit of whatever it had.
It's
So
interesting.
I know,
I'll
but
have to
but
experiment.
I have ruined more bottles of bubbles. Nope,
Yeah, luckily they're cheap. Um,
they're
and
cheap.
that is one of the great things, if you look in my books, there are no esoteric, expensive herbs, and there are no things that you can only order from Tibet or wherever. I use practical everyday stuff you can find in your house because that's what I've got. And also because I'm kind of a cheap witch. I mean, it's not that I don't spend money. I spend it on crystal because I do have a small crystal addiction. Okay, it's a big crystal addiction. It's like it's a huge crystal addiction, but you never know which one you're going to need at any
You
given
never
moment.
know, you never know.
Well, I do energy healing work too, and I use the stones with that, and we use them with our witchcraft, and they're pretty and shiny.
Example, crows or ravens. They're
Well, there are worse addictions to have. I'm
much
just saying, so yes, if my worst addiction is collecting cats and crystals, well, I'm a witch. It sort of comes with the territory. Nobody is really surprised.
no, I think that is beautiful. Well, you are a delight as always. So people are going to fall in love with you like I have for
Oh,
years now. So tell people where they can find you if you have anything going on, where they can get your books, stuff like
well, the easiest thing to do, because I'm a lot of places, but if you go to my website, which is Deborah, spelled the long biblical way, DeborahBlakeAuthor.com. You can see I put a lot of imagination into that. DeborahBlakeAuthor.com. That has links to everything. It's got links to I have an Etsy shop. So if you want a signed book or a signed deck, you can get those. And I have a few magical kits and things like that. And I have a Patreon. There's a link to that. And I'm on Instagram. I'm still on Twitter. We'll see how long that lasts. You know, I I'm on Facebook, although they make me insane.
it.
Um, they're they're wretched,
Right.
wretched, wretched, wretched. I can post 1,000 cat pictures and people will be like, "Oh, that's great." I post about my book and 4 people see it, because because they want you to pay for their ads, in which case 16 people will see it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah, I am all the places. Um, I don't do a lot of traveling anymore. I have long COVID, so that sort of curtails my jaunting around. Plus, I'm super, super careful. Um, so this year, as far as I know, I have no plans to go anywhere. I have been teaching some online classes, which people are really enjoying. The one we did, well, we did one on Yule because the folks who are, I have a bunch of regulars who seem to be coming and then a few new people every time. And you can find the link to that, whatever one's coming up this month. That'll be on my website too. And I talk about it, if you go to my Instagram, I'll be like, "Oh, did you sign up for the class yet? It's a week away. Did you sign up for the class yet? Have you seen it for the class? And also, there's a new book. Did you see there's a new book? Look, cute cat picture. That's
Then they
actually
go,
it works.
"Yeah,
But
oh
yeah,
my
yeah. And really, people only follow me for the cats. But
how many do you have?"
uh, some of them are small.
I
I
could
have
handle my one. Mm,
Yeah, yeah. Well, your one is a handful.
my one.
Your one is quite the handful. And I mean, I have ones that are handfuls, but they're not aggressive handfuls. They're just a pain in my butt
Yes.
handfuls. Like I will lick your face at 5 a.m. for no particular reason because I felt like you should be awake now, kind of a handful. But yeah, I do have 5 cats, and that's it. We're done. I am out of rooms to feed them in, and they all have to eat different foods in different rooms, and yeah, it is actual cat herding.
I
Full
love
cat
it.
herding.
You got everybody. I check her out, Deborah Blake, author. Get her books; they're fabulous. I can't wait to get mine tomorrow. Um, and any words of wisdom for this new year, other than be proud of what you're doing, roosters out there.
Yeah. Well, my best word of wisdom that I can come up with really is hang in there. I think everybody's struggling, and it's a tough time. Focus on the positive as much as you can. I mean, there's a lot of crap that you can't do anything about. Focus on the people around you who bring good things to your life and give good things to them. Put good out into the world whenever you can. Practice random acts of kindness. I tell people I like their skirt or open a door for somebody with a wheelchair. Whatever little tiny things make a huge difference to people. So just go out and be kind. That's my giant words of wisdom. But that is what I try and do, and it costs you nothing at all. And sometimes that little act of kindness that seems to you like it's no big deal makes somebody's whole day.
Yes, and they probably needed it badly. Again,
Exactly. So be kind.
be
That's
kind. I love
Deb
that word.
Deborah Blake says,
Be
be
kind.
kind.
Deborah Blake says, "Be kind." So I'll me open this door for you. Well, thank you so much, Deborah. We will have you again soon because I'm sure you'll have an 800 more books out. Again, you are adorable. You guys check her out. Get this new book. Get her other book. Get all her books. Get all her decks.
Get 3, they're small.
Get they They're small and they look nice on the shelf together. So thank you for bringing your magic to the witching.
Thank you for having me.